My name is Lilly Wagner, and I was born and raised in Berlin, Germany. About halfway through medical school was when I first spent a year in the United States. I had zero intention of leaving Germany for good. I did not have plans to meet somebody and fall in love and start dating during that year, but I did, and I met my husband, Ryan, and we stayed together after I left. And so then I actually had to start wrapping my mind around the fact that we live in different countries and one of us would have to move across the Atlantic. And we sat down and talked about what career opportunities there are, how easy it would be for me to move here, how easy it would be for him to move over to Germany. And I can tell you that there's not as many online resources to figure out how to immigrate into Germany. I think because the United States is a country that attracts so many immigrants, there's a whole industry and information sources just dedicated to all the different routes, whether it's immigrating for work, for family, for marriage. And it was much more straightforward to figure out how that was going to work than trying to get some information about how he would be able to immigrate to Germany. We did meet with an attorney once just to get some guidance on what route we would take, because there are many different routes to legal immigration, and even immigration through marriage has different options. We went the route of obtaining what's called a K-1 fiance visa for me, which allows the visa holder to enter the country with the intent of staying here. So it's an immigrant visa. The other route would have been for us to just get married while I'm here on a student visa for one of my rotations. And the attorney strongly cautioned against that because it's considered immigration fraud if you enter the country on a non-immigrant visa, knowing that you plan to marry and stay here. We didn't want to risk that, given that we wanted to start our careers and have everything in order. So we went that proper route. I came into the country. We could get married legally, then go through what's called an adjustment of status to get a green card. I lived in Houston, Texas, which is where my husband was in grad school. So we stayed there for most of my medical rotations. We then moved to the East Coast. I was in New Haven, Connecticut for 1 year, and then in New York City for 4 years. We then moved to San Francisco, California, and all of those moves were DIY in a truck. And we didn't own a car for the entire time that we lived in New York City, so that made it easier. It was just the two of us in the truck and our stuff from our one-bedroom apartment in the back. It was certainly interesting for me as an outsider to see just how different life is in different parts of the States, having lived in Houston and then the East Coast and then the West Coast and now in Rochester. It's definitely a never-ending learning process about the fabric of the United States, how much the different regions differ in their composition of people of different backgrounds and attitudes.